Hey, Metal Scholars, let's talk about Past Self, one of the most divisive tracks on even in Arcadia. It's been stuck in my head for a couple of days, not just musically, but emotionally. It's a confrontation, it's Vessel stepping out from the mask, not as some divine figure. This is not a lore bound track. He presents himself as a man, as a human being, bitter, raw, heartbreakingly clear. So let's start with the chorus. Are you gonna dance on the line with me?
Hey everyone, quick note here. I recorded a cover using a very simple setup, so the quality isn't perfect. I chose not to use the original audio to avoid copyright issues out of respect for the band. So this version is just meant to support the lyric analysis.
Well, are you gonna dance on the line with me? That's not an invitation, it's a dare. There's a line between artist and audience, between myth and art. And he says, are you really here just for the fantasy? You know it's not a game or a fantasy. Is it okay for me to talk about who I am? The fantasy that you believe that Sleep Token is. And he says, I don't even know who I used to be. And I don't even know who I used to be. But nothing is the same, and some things have to change now. These are reflections. These are identity crises, maybe, and he's just using melody to put his point across. He isn't looking back with nostalgia. He's just saying, I don't know who I was, and he's forcing us to confront who we're willing to follow. Now let's look at the verse. Clawed out of my woodwork, boats out of my blue depths, in and out of my dreamscapes, people acting different. One look at my past self, double take on my cash flow, apologizing for shit that frankly I stopped thinking of years ago. This isn't just poetic distance. This is burnout, disillusionment. Maybe he's talking about the industry, maybe he's talking about the fans, the community, or people who've been digging into his past, people who've demanded apologies for things that he's done many, many years ago. He says, you want me to be mysterious, but not messy. Well, honest, but I cannot be angry. I gotta be divine, but I cannot disappoint. That's just not sustainable. Then we hit the pre-chorus. And you know I deliberate on cutting out the demons. I still need a dark side, they just need a reason. The passage of the hours into rushing through the seasons, falling through my mind with the leaves on the trees. So
And the hours go by, right? The passage of the hours. And time feels like everything is just one blur because of his emotional deterioration. He's already ready to fall because it's crushing. The sensation that you have to abide by the past, or you have to follow certain patterns of the lore just because people want you to. We're not saying that the whole album is about that, but this is a specific snapshot that he wants to emphasize that his previous life, or the fact that he needs to carry that burden of this lore and the story and everything that people expect him to write about, or to behave a certain way, or to be on stage. This is all kind of like tearing him apart.
Keep me alive, keep me believing, but now it's the time to take it or leave it. Give away all my blessings, lift off, weightless, torn apart by the true believers that turned out to be faithless. Well, here it's like, this is where the gloves come off. This is a direct line to the fans of Sleep Token, who said that they would worship, but they turn the moment when things got too real. To the ones who couldn't handle the truth about, the man behind the mask, or actually the fact that the band is talking about emotions, talking about relationships. I think he's saying that some fans don't really want a real artist. Some fans want a safe symbol. They want Vessel to stay enigmatic, but never really complicated, never vulnerable, never confrontational. It's okay to be spiritual, but not really critical. Are you the guardian angel, hacking into my brain cells, stepping up for my future, uploading my truth self? Did I get this far for nothing, or are you the reward? Guardian hounds in this hell house, opening new doors.
Are you guys the guardian angels, but then you want to hack into my brain cells? Right? This is the tone shift here. He shows vulnerability, but in a way, there's some paranoia. Is Sleep Token his salvation, or is this surveillance? Did I get this far for nothing? Or is this the reward? Are you guys, quote unquote, true believers, the reward? He's got the existential doubt here disguised as a question for the fans. But past self is not about that. It doesn't play that game. It wants you to look in the mirror. So it's holding up this mirror and it's saying, can you dare to look? Can you see yourself in it? And that in a way is kind of like why even in Arcadia feels so grounded. It's kind of like forget the lore, forget the myth, forget various theories. It's not about fantasy anymore. He even says that. It's about what happens when you finally remove the armor. Arcadia was supposed to be paradise. Even in Arcadia, there I am, death of an illusion, or the death of a safe version of Sleep Token, a less emotional, less straightforward.
If this is love, then I am out of hesitation, head over heels of elevation, walking an inch above the pavement, taking it stride by stride together. If this is real, then I'm all up in a frenzy, not like before when I was empty. See that the story we tell is never ending, taking it side by side together.
Love is always comforting, but in this case, it comes as vertigo. Is it okay for me to rewrite the myth? Is it okay for us to have or to experience a new cycle?
So if past self makes you uncomfortable, you should ask yourself, is it the sound of the song, that's just too poppy or too like R&B? Because the song is a line in the sand. Either cross it with him, or you have to stand on the other side wondering where the fantasy went. And that does it for me, Metal Scholars. What do you think about this song? Please like, share, and let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much. Bye now.